Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
The most common contaminants that may be found in groundwater include coliform bacteria, E. coli, salmonella, and other microorganisms that indicate fecal contamination or general microbial contamination. Our SIH winning team that we are going to meet today has worked for the cause and developed low-cost testing kits capable of detecting bacteria, fecal, and microbial contaminants in groundwater. So welcome guys, welcome to the show. Okay, to begin with, let's get to know a little bit about you. So please introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I'm Palak Fadia and we're all team Micromanthan, and I'll start with our team lead first, Pranjal Kulkarni. She was mainly responsible for the ML AI portion of it as well as the website portion of it along with Aditya Shinde, and we're all doing BTech in bioengineering from MIT EDT University in Pune. Next, I'll introduce you to Pranav Kulkarni. He was responsible for the electronics portion of our device and our solution. Nakshatra Patil, who handled the wet lab portion of our device, and Manav Patel, who did the designing and the planning of the whole product as well as its business side of it. And I'm Palak Fadia. I did the documentation portion of the team.
Okay, thank you, Palak. Thank you for doing the honors. And we are glad to have you with us today. So before we jump on to the work that you did, let's get to know the problem. So let's establish what the problem is and how big is the problem, how grave is the problem. So let's get to know that first.
Hello sir, I am Pranjal. I would like to cover the problem part of it. So our problem statement was given under the Ministry of Jal Shakti, and it stated that we had to detect microbial and coliform as well as fecal load in groundwater samples or even normal water sample. As we all know, there are around 2 billion people, or like a lot of people who are consuming contaminated water, which is causing child mortality, diseases, infections. So we were trying to target that, and the current solution for detection of microbial load takes around 24 to 48 hours. So we were targeting on a solution which takes minimal time and is also user friendly.
Okay, so I mean, India is facing the contamination issue. So in terms of the enormity of the problem, where do you think we stand in terms of to be able to tackle this? How big is this problem at the national level, if not international level?
If I have to give an example, recently in Pune we had an outbreak of GVS, which was caused because of contaminated water and food. And it wasn't declared as a big issue as of now, but it still was an outbreak which created a lot of panic. So for national issue, I mean, we saw Kumbh right now. We saw the condition of Ganga in Kumbh. So I think it has become a national issue. Even though there are programs, there are government programs for cleaning up of rivers. There is Yamuna cleaning up and even Ganga. But consider looking at the population of our country and the conditions and like the less awareness of how to maintain the hygiene in water bodies, I think it is a national concern.
Yeah, of course. So the monitoring of the water streams and other water bodies need to be done at consistent basis. That's definitely for sure. And we would need a lot of testing devices or testing mechanisms to be able to do that, to be able to monitor all that. So now let's come to your innovation here, the kind of testing device that you created. So tell us something about that first.
Hello, I am Pranav Kulkarni and she is Nakshatra Patil, and we'll be talking about the solution part. So the solution part contained two parts. Firstly, we had to conduct various wet lab assays to validate our proof of concept, and next part was the actual prototype. So I'll be talking about the prototype part where a lot of electronics was involved. So the entire prototype concept was based on a simple Beer-Lambert's law, where we have an LED which will act as a light source and an LDR which will act as a detector. So what basically happens is we take the MCT tube, which is a microcentrifuge tube, we put the sample into the tube and we place the tube in between these light source and the detector, and after an incubation period of 4 hours, we'll get the delta absorbance. So we'll get the absorbance, and with the help of the difference, we'll be able to calculate the amount of bacterial load into the water. So this was about the electronics part, where we use a lot of let's say coding and use an ESP32 chip to integrate all the data. Now Nakshatra will talk about the wet lab part.
So now talking about the wet lab part. So to prove that our solution actually works, we had done multiple tests in the labs, and based on those tests, we came to the conclusion that our solution is actually working in labs. But to make it work in actual device and as a solution, the electronics part was integrated. Now you'll say that the water sample that we are taking, it should be it is taken as a sample and it is put into a tube that like Pranav mentioned. So we have prepared a magic mix, I will call it, that we have prepared in our labs, and that when mixed with the water sample that we are taking from the source, directly we mix it. On-site testing we are providing, which is an advantage to the existing solution, which is basically a lab-based test. And the existing solution takes hours and is very expensive and will require the water sample to be sent out to the labs. But whereas our solution is giving an on-site rapid testing solution, and it is a very user-friendly solution, which someone who is not a lab expert can also use. So that is all from our side, and that is the solution we proposed, and definitely we want it to be used all over our country.
Okay, so
Thanks.
since the solution was created during the SIH, during that competition period, so did you get any opportunity to get some kind of validation, or after the competition, did you try to get this validated from some person or some point of interest?
Yes, sir. Actually, the proof of concept, we did validations on spectrophotometer, which is available in the labs. It's a high-tech equipment, but in order to validate the proof of concept, we used that. And now we are into testing and validating the prototype, the actual device which we are targeting to release into the market.
So the solution that we made during SIH, the 5 days of SIH, was a prototype that was functional at that point. But to work on the specificity and the accuracy of the device, we are continuously working till date and making our device even better and ready to be sent out to the market waves.
Right. So when it comes to making it better, as you said, so how better is it from the existing solutions that are there in the market, and how different is it in terms of cost, also in terms of efficacy, also? So how do you place yourself or your device as compared to the other ones?
The main aim was to create a very pocket-friendly, let's say portable and cost-effective device, which is obviously mentioned in the problem statement as well. So our device it's very affordable. It costs around 2,000 rupees right now. But in order to make it efficient, we are planning to change a few sensors which are there, and we are able to upgrade that. That would just increase the cost by a few thousand rupees, but it would still be cheaper than those which is available in the market already. And to talk about the difference, let's say it is based on a spectrophotometer. So handheld is a very important thing which we'd like to focus on right now, and it is very cost effective, and on-site testing is something which is not there in the market right now.
So the existing solution, as I already mentioned, requires the person to send out the sample to the labs. This requires over 3 days, 1 week's time, depending on how far away the lab is. Also, the dependency on having labs nearby, and to the expenditure of traveling, and also the per test cost is also very high. Whereas our per test cost is about only 50 rupees, which even the poorest of the poor can afford. So that is something that is a standout feature of our device, which is not existing in the market. And of course, anyone can use it. A farmer can use it for testing the water quality of his water in his wells, which is giving to the to his plants. Also, our device can tell the water quality by telling If the water quality is beyond a threshold or below a threshold, then it could be reused for something else. So the reusability factor is being taken care of by our device. So that is something that is unique and novel in our device, which is not there in the market.
Great, that sounds really good. I mean, it definitely seems to stand out. So now I would like to, get some insights from you about the experience that you had during the hackathon period. So how the experience was, and how were you able to navigate those 3 days while you were working on the solution? Because you must have got a lot of feedback from the mentors, also from the judges, also. So I mean, were there any negative points or anything, very positive coming out at different phases? And how did you tackle all that?
Firstly, to talk about the experience, we were all super excited to begin with, and it's like we were prepared, but in the end, it's all about those 5 days, and the ability to adapt in those 5 days is very important. So, firstly, to talk about the initial stage, we had an internal hackathon in our college where we already had a prototype made. It was very different from the final prototype which we showed at the finale, but we were there ready with that prototype, and based on that prototype the judges told us various changes, and they told us to make they told us about a few accuracy testings, like what could you do to increase the accuracy, about the business analysis, and also about some principles about the judge review. For example, as Nakshatra mentioned, the reusability part, which is the 3 R's which are there of the Jal Shakti ministry. So they were also mentioned, and along with that, a few changes were also told. So that was about the changes by the judges.
So at any point, did you ever think that okay, we might not be able to finish at the top of the podium because the kind of feedback that we are getting, the kind of competition that is around us. So did you ever thought in those terms, or were you very confident from the very beginning? Okay, we have got this.
So the thing was, on the second day of our hackathon, we came at a point where it was a dead end. As in, we thought it was a dead end, but at that time, at that moment, it was like we might not end up in the top, or our morale was down at that time. But with the help of mentors and with the help of this incredible team, we all together had a talk on that. The problem is, how can we tackle this problem? And then that the whole night of the second day went into the how can we solve on this and how can we overcome this. And as the third day came, it came with the good news and good morning that we might tackle this problem. And that was the time that we felt like it could be a dead end for us.
Okay, good that you shared that with us, because that's going to be very immensely useful for all other aspirants of SIH in the coming years. Never to give up, have faith in yourself, and try working on it. So I think that worked in your case. So wonderful, and congratulations. So you guys went on to win the competition. So now coming back to the your innovation, what impact are you in your mind imagining this entire innovation of yours will have or should have?
Okay, so if we compare with what the solution, what the current solution is there in the market, and with our solution, as Nakshatra mentioned, the solution that is existing takes a long time to get the results back. So what our main aim was to just reduce, as in rapidify the testing part of the water quality. So that's what we did, and the impact and the user approach that we can have is, if you have ever wondered the restaurant that you're going in, whether they use good quality of water or not in making their food. So they have the rules and regulations that every 6 months, every 4 months, they have to report their water quality to the concerned authorities, so that the concerned authorities remain updated about what the water quality is used in that restaurant. So right from the restaurant to end user as a farmer or the testing labs, our product can fit in every aspect of it, from the farmers and from the one who is the very skilled scientific researcher who is working on water quality can use our product, to the farmer who is end user where he has no knowledge about science but still can get the water quality of what he is using in his home. Secondly, our device is not just giving the results, but it is also updating all of the quality to the concerned authorities. So now we have also came up with a website wherein if someone is using our device, that data will be uploaded on the will be uploaded on our device, and that data will be provided to concerned authorities. Now, let's say if there is a well or somewhere in Pune, the contamination is detected. So now our system is such a way where if the contamination is detected in that part, now all the parts or all the villages on the downstream of that pipeline will get the notification that you might receive contaminated water. So be aware. Adding on to this, we have also used the reusability part that Jal Shakti under our ministry. The Jal Shakti had mentioned that we should introduce reusability part in our solution. So for that, we not only just provide the quality of the milk, but we also give the suggestions to the end user wherein if the quality of milk is this much, they can probably use it in washing their car or gardening that instead of just wasting all of. Now, if an end user thinks that the water is contaminated, he might have the notion that I can't use it anywhere. But we on the solution of our device give where a person will get an idea of where he can use all of the water that he's getting. So he might probably use it in washing utensils, washing clothes, or gardening, or in such a way. So this is the overall impact or idea that we have about our product.
So, right, I mean, this seems very useful and very solid impact, which should make a lot of difference. So now coming to the future, what have you thought about, the future course of action? I mean, are you going to put some more research into this, solidify it further, or would you like to commercialize it, take it to a startup level? What have you thought about this?
Okay, so as Pranav said, we have developed a device. So we have developed that device, and that device that we have came across can be used in multiple testing kits. Like we can probably use it in milk testing. We can probably use it in blood testing. So right now we are in the research of what all, along with water, what all can we test in this kit. Secondly, uh, we are thinking on increasing the sensitivity efficacy of our product. So right now at this moment we are just trying to increase the user experience, the sensitivity of our product, and in a future term we would obviously like to commercialize this as I mentioned before. The impact of this device might be very vast and good. So we probably are thinking of putting it in the market where end user could use our product and make his daily life more easier.
So, is there a roadmap that in these many months or years you should be seeing yourself in the market? Have you thought on those terms also?
Yeah, obviously. First, as I said, we need to have multiple tests remaining right now. So we have timeline. We have decided timeline wherein till now we have to do this. So we are also looking for patenting and publishing this idea. So we have timeline wherein there's an end timeline. Before that, we have to publish our idea. We have to patent our idea, and after that, we'll look on to the future aspect of it.
Good to know all that. So we wish you very best for all those timelines of yours and the future that holds some very good prospects for you in this particular field. And thank you so much for joining us today. Congratulations to you once again on winning the SIH, and our very best wishes for a very successful venture in the times to come. Thank you so much for joining, guys. All the best, and
Thank
keep
you.
doing good
Thanks.
work.
Thank you so much.
sir.
Low-cost testing kits designed to detect bacterial, fecal, and microbial contaminants in groundwater are important tools for ensuring water safety and public health. They provide accessible and affordable tools to assess water quality, which is crucial for both public health and environmental protection. We will meet another team of innovators in the coming edition. Keep watching.